Hi guys, Brian here today with another commentary video, and today I wanted to talk about what I have liked to call this special little area of Dead by Daylight that a lot of characters seem to fall into, which is kind of a sad zone, and I kind of want to bring attention to it. So let's go ahead and talk about the mid killers. Remember friends, if you want to let me know that I'm doing a good job, the best way to do that is to hit the like button over there down below. And if you want to see more of my daily uploads, make sure you subscribe, that we actually see those. I'm not going to ask you to bell. Do people ask you to bell now? Is that like a thing? I pointed the wrong way. That way, this way. Do people ask you to bell now? I don't know. Anyways, bell if you want to, I guess. Anyways, let's get on with the video. So basically, no matter which way you cut it, the bottom three of Dead by Daylight is pretty solidified. People argue who's like the bottom and what order they're in, but essentially the bottom three of Dead by Daylight is always Myers, Trapper, and Pig. Those are kind of like the ones you most mutually agreed on to be the bottom three in the game. You may argue somebody's the worst, somebody's not the worst, but essentially the bottom three in the game are pretty, set in stone. But what I'm going to talk about today are the mid killers, the ones that just barely don't make it into bottom tier, but they kind of can't do anything else either. Like, they're just in this weird zone, and I think I've found like the defining trait that like puts them in this weird zone, the mid zone, of why they're all there. And the killers that I want to bring attention to here are Legion, Ghostface, and now Sadako, because I feel like Sadako also fits into this category. They have just enough strength in their powers to not be called the worst in the game. Like, no matter what you do with these characters, you can't call them the worst in the game. You can't call them bottom three. But other than that, that's kind of it. That's like it. That's all they really have going for them, is that like, hey, at least I'm not bottom three in the game. They all have powers that are good and can function. Legion can get free injuries and spread injuries across the map very, very easily. Ghostface has it takes Myers and puts him into turbo mode where he can just 99 people and insta down them all the time. Freddy has map control out the wazoo. He can teleport to any gen he wants, and he's got slowdown in the form of his little puddles. I meant to say anti-chase, okay. And Sadako, I feel like, also fits in this, where she has crazy map control, but she doesn't have a chase tool, and the survivors can actually turn off her power. So these four kind of fit into this weird zone of like, yeah, my power works, but like for whatever reason, it might just be like power creep with survivor perks, or just survivor efficiency getting better, like the W meta, the circle of healing meta. But for whatever reason, it's just like these characters' powers, despite functioning, don't really have a huge enough impact on the match to get consistent results. You'll find that a lot of these characters as well, they become very, very, very map based. Very, very map based. Like if you get like Wrecker's Yard or Cold Towers Legion, you're gonna have a much better time if you get like Eerie of Crows, for example. Just because like trying, even with like his add-ons that allow him to have higher duration, trying to spread that pressure across that whole map, that whole giant football field of a map with all those safe pallets is just like terrifying. It's terrifying. It's hard to do. It's really hard to do. So like you end up in this situation with these characters where like their powers work and their powers are good, but they just, it could be the meta, it could be survivors in general just getting better at the game, but their powers just kind of like don't hack it anymore. They just don't put out enough pressure on the map consistently. I think the key word is consistently, to really be a consistent, strong character. Because I think that's a big thing. Because whenever we make videos and we talk about a specific character, there's always somebody who's like, well, I play at low MMR and I use only the best add-ons and I only send myself to maps that are good for me, so I think the character's good. And that doesn't count, because like we're talking about consistency, consistent results, not the overwhelming advantage results. Okay, and maybe that's the next video I'm going to make. Why Dead by Daylight players think that just because they can stack certain add-ons and maps that it makes a character consistently good. But looking at these four, that being Legion, Ghostface, Freddy, and Sadako, it's that they just can't put out enough pressure on the map consistently. And there's nothing like wrong with their power, right? Like their power isn't weak or useless. It's just like, it's just not enough. It's just it functions, but the damage, the impact it has on the match, just seemingly just isn't enough to really like win consistently. It's like sad because like what do you do for a lot of these characters in these situations? Because like their powers don't need a rework because their powers like function, right? It's not like Cloud where it's just kind of like, oh well, I have no way to move around the map, which he kind of still doesn't. His yellow balls aren't that impressive. But it's not like they need to like add something to any of these characters. Their powers are fully functioning toolkits. You know, it's just that whether it be the meta or what, it's just like they can't consistently make stuff happen with this kit that they have in their hands, and it's just weird because and it's why I call them the mid killers, because they're not poorly designed. They're really well designed, but like they just can't seem to hack it for some reason. Like they just can't do it. Like at least not consistently. And it's just funny. And it's a weird place to think that like, yeah, these characters have fully fleshed out kits that just work, but not enough. And just not enough. So I don't know. What do you do in that situation? Like, what do you do with characters like that just like their kits are complete and they're a fully fledged character, but they just suck. Like they're just meh at best. They're just mid. Like what do you even do with characters like that? Good question. Maybe that's something for you guys to think about. I think I'm gonna call it there because I don't know what else to say besides, yep, they're mid. They're mid. Thank you so much for watching today, friends. Thank you for spending your evening with me. I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. And if I don't, I'll see you when I see you, friends. Goodbye.